Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Kyle and today I'm very excited to introduce my first guest teacher, Joelle. Joelle is a dear friend of mine, and after doing many of her classes, I can say that she has this incredible ability to connect people together. She's a very experienced yoga teacher and has been a mentor in my teaching career, and her ability to foster a sense of community and inclusivity in a class is none like I've ever experienced before. And for some time, I've been wanting to open up the space periodically to teachers so you can just get a taste of what's kind of in my yoga world. And unsurprisingly, Joelle has offered to share her beautiful practice with us, and I will say from experience that it is very fluid and dynamic and extremely unique, and I'm very excited for you to experience it.
Hi yogis, my name is Joelle Slibos and I'm so honored to be here at the Color Yoga Studio. Thank you, Kyle, for having me. I'm very honored to share my passion for yoga with your community. So let's start by coming into a comfortable seat. Settle into your seat. Maybe there's still some fiddling or some arranging of your clothes, and then you can commit to stillness. This class today is designed and themed around the element of water. So when I say the word water, what images or colors, or maybe a specific memory linked to water pops up in your mind? And remember that your body is around 70 to 80% water. So with this fluidUs inspired practice, we will be connecting to the deeper layers of your being. We'll move from a deeper place within. We'll pass the threshold to the mystical and mysterious parts of you that reside within. We'll look at the rivers, the lymph, we'll stimulate the lymph, the blood, and work with your connective tissue, your fascia. And from a physical point of view, we'll really look at the appropriate amount of tension and a big support of the living balloon inside you, the breath. So let's pay some attention to the breath. Can you breathe in through the nose? And maybe breathe out through the mouth or the nose, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And can you notice on a very subtle level, because this practice is very subtle, if your right or left nostril are more open? It might take you a couple of rounds of breath to discover whether it's the right or the left one. And that changes throughout the day. You might even be able to feel the air, or you can imagine the air traveling in through your nose, nostrils of your nose, past the little hairs on the inside of your nostrils, down your throat, into the body, and all the way down to your pelvis. So use your full respiratory system. Soften the back of the heart. Soften the back of the skull. Soften your jaw and the tongue inside your mouth. In this practice, we'll use inner strength. So we'll actually keep the outer layers of our body soft. The inner fountain is what we'll use to move, to feel. And I invite you, of course, you can look at my body when I demonstrate the practice, but I invite you to close your eyes as often as feels comfortable to you. Closing the eyes allows you to go within, to let the outer world just be. A ritual of closing the eyelids and to turning your gaze and your attention inwards. Because there's a whole world, a whole universe of beauty to explore within. You can keep your eyes closed and we'll do a pranayama. Now, if you feel or if you think that you might get dizzy quite quickly, you could choose to lie on your back for this one. But otherwise, just refine the seat, maybe cross your legs in the other direction. And we'll do a double breath. We'll do it for a full minute and then I'll let you know. We'll end with a full exhale and that exhale retention will hold. And it really allows for an incredibly, for me, very pleasant sensation on the inside. It's inside. It almost floats up to the skull. A very, very felt sense kind of pranayama. So I'll demonstrate it once. It's a double breath. So you breathe in, add a little bit of air, and then. So let's together take a soft breath in. And sigh it out. You can close your eyes and there we go for 1 minute. Strong inhales. Through the nose or the mouth. Notice what you feel. Halfway. Next one, exhale and totally exhale and hold. Stay soft. Notice what you feel on the inside. Ten more seconds. Slowly receive the breath, breathe in, fill up. At the top, sip in a little bit more air. Hold. And then slowly release. Sit with that. Feel the ripple effect of that pranayama. And let's then come onto hand and knees. So place your hands under your shoulders or just in front of your shoulders. Your knees are under your hips. Just find a little bit of movement from right to left, front to back. And then close your eyes. Feel the connection from the right hand past the right shoulder, past the heart, to the left outer shoulder, to the left outer hand. Specifically when you rock a little bit from right to left, you might be able to feel that. And then you can tuck your toes and just hover your hips just above your heels. Take a breath in and stay there for the exhale. We're going to move with our breath, so wait for the breath and round your spine forward. Inhale. Exhale and bring your sit bones back above your heels and keep the sit bones nice and wide. Wait for it as if the sails, it's like the sails catching the wind. Breathe in, come back forward. And breathe out, go back. And stay in this with your own breath. And a suggestion might even be to go over a little bit to the right hand when you come forward and keep the left hand soft. A little bit more of a diagonal feeling. So there is no wrong and right here. Really feel into the body. Let the inhales bring you forward and the exhales bring you back. And almost be surprised about your own movements. So really making it a felt sense experience. Maybe your hips start to move with. Let's do this 3 more rounds of breath. And tuck your toes and lift yourself up into downward facing dog. Feet are hip width apart. Soft bend in the elbows. And in this variation, I'd also like to invite you to bend your knees. There is a reaching down of the knees, and it's simultaneously a reaching backwards, upwards in this case, of the sit bones. So that lengthens the thighs. So the knees and the sit bones move away from each other. And then you can lift the lower belly, soften the back of the heart, and soften the back of the skull. Take 2 more rounds of breath here. And bend your knees, maybe open your eyes for a moment so you can orientate where you are on your mat and walk your feet to the top of the mat and keep them hip width apart. Your toes can even turn a little bit in. And then take your index fingers and press onto the top of the feet where the balls of the big toes touch your mat, and then draw a line past your toes to the outer edges of the feet. That is the outer edges, your strength. And then lift the inner ankles. Feel the lift, the inner fountain. So there's a little bit of a lift of the lower belly. Now just soften into your forward fold, a sway or some stillness. It's all okay. And then bend your knees, take a breath in and come all the way up to a stand. Roll up, reach your fingers up towards the sky. And then bring your hands to heart center. We'll do a different variation of our Sun A, the fluidus way. Feel the water element inside the body. So breathe in, reach up, your fingers stay soft. You're moving from a place deep within. Knees forward, hips back. Fold at the hips and fold all the way down. Relax your neck, head and shoulders. Now pretend you've got wings and open the wings so the back of the heart leads. Open the wings, the heart peeks forward and then fold forward. Hands to the top of the mat, feet to the back of the mat into downward facing dog. Take a moment to settle in. And then breathe in to shift your weight forward. We could call this plank pose, but the knees are bent. Take a breath to prepare, and then slowly, you can use your knees, lower all the way down to the floor. Inhale to slide the knees forward so the tummy lifts, and then exhale to sliver back almost like a snake. Hips are above your heels and bring your hands to heart center. Now take a moment here to find the buoyancy. Outer knees press into the floor and press out and away from each other. So, if you pretend that you've got a block in between the knees, the energy would be inwards. Here it's outwards. We're using the outer shell as a protection, let's say, and then the inside of the body can be really, really strong. Now bring your hands to heart center and start together and wait for the breath. We're letting the breath guide us. So breathe in, heart comes forward, open the wings. Exhale, hover the hips back and find that buoyancy. Wait for it, like sails on a boat that catch the wind when the time is right and when it's ready. Take a breath in, open up. Exhale. Now do this at your own pace for another 3, 4, 5 times. Move slower rather than fast. Feel and move from that place within. Again, an invitation to close your eyes. Feel the softness of the fingers and the hands and the strength from the place behind your heart. Take one more, big one together. And then the hands come to the top of the mat. Inhale, round your spine forward. Keep your sit bones broad. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bring yourself all the way back. Wonderful. We'll do that one more time. So bend your knees and look forward. And then step, jump or float the feet to the top of the mat. Wing your arms open. like a big eagle or an angel, and then exhale to fold all the way down. It feels a bit like Tai Chi. Breathe in, breathe the body up, lift the fingers up towards the sky. And we keep moving, bend the knees forward, hips back, fold at the hip and fold. The wings come back, inhale, open up. Hands to the top of the mat, feet to the back of the mat into downward facing dog. Float forward, shift forward, receive the breath, let it support you, feel that living balloon, and then soften all the way down. Knees slide forward, breathe in, tummy lifts. Exhale, snake yourself back, hands to heart center. That's actually a tricky pose and transition. All right, wait for it. We'll just do one big one. Inhale. Sometimes call this the champagne bottle opening when the pressure is right. And then bring the hands to the floor. Round the spine forward. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Now lift your right leg up towards the sky. And turn that right knee slightly in and soften the right foot. And the right knee is even a little bit bent. Take another breath in here. And then step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Your back knee is bent. So there's a softness on the outside again, but a strength on the inside. And then sway from right to left. So feel the connection between the right foot and the left hand. And an elephant trunk, your right arm. So it's kind of hanging out there. Your left knee is bent, and we're going to subtly breathe into the right side of the body, but just the right rib cage. So on the next inhale, soft twist, but just with the rib cage. Inhale, the arm stays heavy, and exhale, bring it back. Left knee is bent. Receive the breath. Inhale, just the rib cage. Exhale, come back down. Now we can start to extend. Breathe with the entire body. Start to extend. Rib cage, armpit, elbow, wrist. And then just soften it back down. 2 more times. Breathe in, up and over. Breathe out, hand back down. 1 more time, big breath in. And now walk over towards the left side in what we call a spider. So it's similar to a prasarita. And your toes can turn in. And the difference here is that the knees, again, move away energetically from the sit bones. So there's a reaching. We also call this tongues and tails, as if you've got a tongue, like a dragon and a tail. And those two opposites move away from each other. Lift the lower belly and just hang out here for a couple rounds of breath. Now notice if you want to stay with that element of water and sway, or if you feel more like taking a moment of reflection and to be still. Take a halfway lift, breathe in. Come to a low lunge back at the top of your mat and frame your feet around, your hands, around that right foot. Feel your feet and then rise up to a standing. Keep your back knee bent and again, hands to heart center, as if you are riding a wave on a surfboard. Readjust your feet in a way that you feel ready to catch the next wave underneath your surfboard, or in this case, your yoga mats. Lovely. Let's add our wings 3 times. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, hands gather, lean a little forward. There we go. Breathe in and breathe out. 1 more time. Inhale. Hands to heart center, exhale. Stay here for a moment. And then on the next inhale, open to a twist. So the left hand comes forward and the right hand comes back. Now look towards your front hand. Take a deep breath in and start to come to Mercury. That means you lean into your right leg. Your left hand comes down to the floor and your left leg reaches up behind you. Yeah, that's it. If you want to use a block underneath that left hand, you may, or use the floor. Keep your eyes nice and focused. Breathe. Now, what can you soften on the outer layers of your being in order to really be supported by your breath and a deep place within? Fantastic. Tricky transition. Prepare. Feel the outer edge of your right foot. Connected, how it is connected. Press into it to the right hip, and then you stand up into a single leg Tadasana and lift your left knee up. Now soften the left foot. The hands again can be at heart center. Nice. Keep your eyes focused on a fixed point. And then bend the standing leg, your right leg a little more, and step. The arch of the foot, it's very different to what you may be used for. This is a different variation of tree. It's the fluidUs variation. You're stepping on the thigh, and now the tongues and tails. So the left knee actually reaches forward while the sit bones reach back. Lovely. Very nice. Lift the lower belly, soften the back of the heart, sternum in towards the heart, and soften the back of the skull. Now bring your hands to your waist and breathe all the way down towards your pelvis. Feel the tension build. You can even squeeze a bit with the fingers when you breathe in. And now when you breathe out, can you keep a little bit of that tension, that living balloon inside you? Wonderful. One more deep breath in. Both feet down or fold forward. Soften the neck and shoulders. A breath in together. A sigh out. Open the wings to fly. Melt and fold back forward. One more time, breathe in. Step back to downward facing dog. Hands to the top of the mat, feet to the back of the mat. And for a moment, just come into a kneeling. Place your hands on your thighs and close your eyes. Feel. And come back to downward facing dog. Last little bit of standing. Reset. And if you feel comfortable, maybe even keep your eyes closed the entire practice. Really stay within. It's such a precious and sacred and intimate place to be. Lift your left leg up and let that left knee turn a little in, and the foot might even fall out a little. It feels a bit floppy. It's just very different. And I thank you for trying something new. Take a deep breath in here. And then step that left foot to the outside of your left hand. Your right knee is nice and soft. A little sway. And feel that connection between the outer right hand and the left foot. And your left arm is just hanging out there. Elephant trunking, as we call it. Like a trunk of an elephant. Yeah, nice. Just sway it. Right knee is bent, hovers just above the floor, and let's receive that breath. Invitation to close your eyes. It's so subtle. Breathe into the left side of that armpit and just open the ribcage a little, and then let the weight of the arm almost like bring you back down. Like the waves of the ocean. Breathe in. Just the ribcage. Breathe out. Now let's extend that. So breathe in even slower, and then let the ribcage and the armpits and the elbow and the wrist, and then let it come back down. Soft through the fingertips. Inhale, receive the breath, open up and receive the breath with your entire being, your entire body, and then soften back down. The right knee can bend a little more. This is your last one. Inhale, up. And now walk over towards your right side into that spider. Find the outer edge, the connection between the outer edges of the feet and the outer hips. Knees reach forward, sit bones reach back, and then lift the lower belly. Stillness or sway. Or even if you have an inversion in your practice and you want to, we are all inverted because your head is lower than your heart and your heart is lower than your hips. That is an inversion, and it's got many benefits. But some people like to bring the legs up. So if that is you and you feel ready for that today, feel free. You've got some time here to play. And if your feet are up, slowly bring them back down towards the floor. And together we breathe in, halfway lift. Walk back to the top of the mat and frame that left foot with your hands. Rise up to a standing from your low lunge up to your crescent lunge. Gather, and again, pretend that your yoga mat is a surfboard. So can you catch waves? Are you stable? Do you feel the buoyancy? Do you feel the appropriate amount of tension in the entire body to hold this shape, even if it's a big wave? And then we add on the breath and the arms. So breathe in, open the wings. Knees reach forward and down, hips back. Exhale, hands to heart center. Breathe back in, open up. Breathe out. Wait for it, gather and receive, unfold. Exhale, hands to heart center. Wait for a moment, take a breath in and a breath out. And then on the inhale, twist your arms open so the right hand is reaching forward and the left hand is reaching back. Right knee can hover. Now bring your gaze to the front, to the right hand. Prepare, shift the weight to that left foot, and there you go, into Mercury, into your balance pose. Left fingers are soft. There's a strength behind the heart. There's a strength in the deep, deep core. Keep your eyes nice and focused. Remember that you can use a block under the right hand or even the floor. Nice. Hold for 3 more rounds of breath. You're doing a fantastic job. Stay focused. Use the living balloon. Use the breath to support this asana, and then slowly transition, tricky one, to bring that right leg up into your chest, into a single leg Tadasana. And then our last standing pose here is your variation of tree. So step that right foot on top of the left thigh. Feel the tongues and tails so the inside of the left ankle reaches up. There's a lift of the inner fountain, a lift of the belly. Right knee reaches forward, sit bone reaches back. And then if you want to really feel that different breathing all the way down to the pelvis, hold onto your waist. Closing the eyes might be a bit tricky, specifically if this is the first time you're trying this variation, but really feel the pressure build underneath your fingertips. And keep the pressure inside the body just a little bit when you breathe out. Fantastic. One more deep breath in. Feet down, fold forwards. Fantastic. Wing the arms, take a breath in, and come back down into your kneeling position. From here, you can bring your hips next to your heels. Make sure you stay warm. We're going to go onto our back. So just roll onto your back. And we're slowing down. Place your feet hip width apart, or even wider, and they're quite far away from the hips, so give yourself space. Breathe in and let the knees fall over to the left side, and now reach your arms next to your ears and start to reach through the right hand. So feel the connection from the right knee, past the right hip, right rib cage, through the right fingers. Yeah, lovely, lovely lateral stretch. Exhale in a soft twist back to the center. And now you do the other side. So let the knees fall over to the right side. Reach to the left fingers. Even reach the left knee a little bit away while the hips stay onto the floor. And then come back to center. One more time each side. Inhale, up and over. Exhale back to the center. Over to the other side. Reach to the left hand. And come back to the center. Nice. Before we go down into Shavasana, I'd like you to try this pumping of the feet. Well, it's a pumping of the feet, but it has a really nice effect on your central nervous system. So come lie down and soften the feet. Try to soften the body. The more resistance there is from the outer layers of the body, the less of a buoyancy feel you get. You're using the elasticity. So this is very calming for your central nervous system. And just start to pump your feet. And notice that when you pump your feet, softly, keep the toes soft, keep the feet soft. And it's even nice if you're working with someone for them to kind of use the hands onto the balls of the feet. So you don't do anything, you just receive. If you are practicing together, you could do that for each other one day. But otherwise, try it yourself. And do this for another 20 seconds. Feel the entire body move. Eyes are closed. 4, 3, 2. Come to a still place. Breathe in. Exhale and relax. Your final resting pose. Allow yourself to soften, and I'll let you know when it's time to move again. Take a slow breath in and a soft breath out. Stay in that soft place, that inner world. Allow yourself to become aware of the space around you, almost starting to pass the threshold, spending more of your attention and your focus outwards, starting to have the gaze from that inner place to a bit more outer focus. But keep your eyes closed. Your awareness just starts to become broader, and we can feel in this moment that there is a constant exchange of energy between the outer world and our inner world. And both worlds are beautiful to navigate. I often compare it like our planet and the ocean. They're both beautiful places, and they're almost like two worlds on this planet Earth. I spend a lot of time on the planet and not so much time in the ocean. But there is a whole world out there in the ocean, and it's the same with the outer world and the inner world. And I enjoy spending time with the inner world. It's where I can connect with the different aspects of myself and explore who I am without the expectations or rules of the game called life. The deep, deep truth, the divine truth within me, where there's no roles, where there's just me. So stay in that place, stay in that soft place while you start to breathe a little bit more actively. Maybe move your fingers and your toes. And then in the next couple of rounds of breath, you can even keep your eyes closed. Come back up into a seated position. And then here in your seat, just feel the breath, feel you, and take some of that softness with you off your mat. Take your time. This is also a beautiful, beautiful moment to maybe journal. If you have time to sit in this space, in this blissful state, linger and stay. And otherwise, start to prepare to maybe interact again with that beautiful world out there that is waiting for you. Thank you for trying something new, for trying this class. And again, thanks, Kyle, for allowing me to be part of your community and to share the love and the passion for yoga. From my heart to yours, thank you for showing up, for coming to the mat, and for practicing self-care. Namaste.